Hello, Climate Solutions students. My name is Jill Caviglia Harris, and I am so excited to be part of this course. I'm an environmental economist at Salisbury University, located on Maryland's Eastern Shore. My module will focus on solutions to reduce tropical deforestation and the carbon dioxide that's emitted when clearing and burning these forests. I've been conducting research in the Brazilian Amazon for the last 25 years, and I'm now working with an interdisciplinary team focused on the combined impacts of climate change and deforestation on the water cycle, and the impacts that the drying of the Amazon is likely to have on the people who live there. Tropical deforestation occurs for many reasons and often reflects conflicting views on the value of ecosystem services and the goals of development. Solutions will require a mix of policies. My module will focus on explaining how economists think about environmental problems, design policy, and evaluate the costs and benefits of different policy outcomes. In this video, I'll outline how economists model and think about tropical deforestation decisions with examples that draw heavily on deforestation trends in the Brazilian Amazon. Let's begin with the costs and benefits of deforestation. I'll talk about these on two levels: the costs and benefits to the individual landholder, which can be a family household or an agricultural firm, and to society, where society includes the individual landholders, plus all the global citizens that are impacted by these decisions. The costs of deforestation to the individual landholder are the physical costs of clearing and burning the forest, so the cost of labor and equipment needed. The societal costs are much greater. These include the costs to the individual landholder, plus the costs associated with increases in carbon dioxide, reductions in biodiversity, and changes to the hydrological cycle. Tropical deforestation contributes about 20% of our annual greenhouse gases. And because rainforests are incredibly biodiverse, storing at least 2/3 of the world's species, despite covering less than 10% of the Earth's surface, we can lose incredibly important species through tropical deforestation. Finally, tropical forests play an important role in the global hydrological cycle. Increases in deforestation have the potential to increase precipitation in some regions while drying others. So these three costs, those associated with carbon dioxide, reductions in biodiversity, and changes to the hydrological cycle, together make up the cost to society. Now to the benefits. The benefits of deforestation to the individual landholder include the productive land gains when the forest is cleared that can then be used for agriculture or other activities. The benefits to society include the crops that are harvested on the cleared land. So, now we have the benefits and costs that can be used to analyze decisions. Note that together, these include the costs and benefits to humans and ecosystem services. When we model the decision of a landholder to deforest, we assume that the landholder is considering the marginal benefits and marginal costs of this decision. Therefore, they're thinking about the additional cost of clearing one additional portion of the property. These marginal benefits and marginal costs differ depending on whether we're talking about the individual or society as a whole, but it's the individual landholder here that makes the choice, so we assume that it's the private costs and private benefits that matter. Let's think more about this benefit-cost decision. The landholder is thinking not only about the marginal benefit and marginal cost of each additional area cleared, but also about the flip side. What are the marginal benefits and marginal costs of leaving the forest standing? Here we assume that the cost of leaving a portion of the property standing as forest is represented by the opportunity cost of that land. If I leave 1 hectare or 1 acre of forest standing, that means I can use 1 hectare or acre of my property for farming. This is the opportunity cost of leaving the forest standing. So, how do you think these opportunity costs are determined? Well, it's likely that the cost is reflected in the value of the property to the farmer, or how much the farmer would earn if the forest was converted to agriculture or rented out for another purpose. And what are the benefits of leaving the forest standing? Well, these are likely represented by the value of the ecosystem services to the landholder, including the maintenance of water sources like rivers and ponds, and shade for cattle and crops. Therefore, we assume that the farmer will decide to deforest if the marginal benefits of clearing the land are greater than the marginal costs. Bringing this idea back to our previous video, knowing this means that I've identified the source of the issue. If it was determined that deforestation rates were too high, an economist would try to influence either the marginal costs or the marginal benefits of deforestation. And this is the focus of environmental economics. How is it that we can make those marginal benefits and marginal costs of the individual landholder reflective of the marginal costs and marginal benefits of society? One option is that we could make it illegal for a farmer to deforest more than a certain amount of their property. This is what's known as a standard or a regulation. You set a limit, and the landholder must abide by it or be fined. Here we increase the opportunity cost of the land by imposing this limit on the amount of available cleared land. Another option would be to make it expensive for farmers to deforest, thus providing a negative incentive to reduce deforestation. One way of making deforestation more expensive could be imposing a tax on every unit of deforestation. And finally, another type of economic instrument or a positive incentive is a payment for ecosystem services. In this case, the landowner would be compensated for the ecosystem services that they conserve. We'll discuss these options and many other policy instruments in the videos to come.